Dillon Brooks and the play. Let me set it up. Dillon Brooks was ejected with less than 3 minutes into Tuesday night's win by the Grizzlies over the Warriors for a flagrant foul 2 that left Gary Payton II with a fractured left elbow. Brooks was chasing down Payton from behind on a fast break layup. When he hit the Warriors guard in the head, he wound up and took a swipe in the air with 9:08 left in the first quarter. Payton went down hard, remained down for several minutes. After the officials reviewed the play, Brooks was ejected. And Steve Kerr didn't mince words. He said he didn't know if it was intentional or not. But he did say that there was a code and that it was dirty and that he broke the code. Let's hear from Steve Kerr.
Everybody's going to compete. Everybody's going to fight for everything. But there's a code in this league. There's a code that players follow where you never put a guy's season/career in jeopardy by taking somebody out in midair and clubbing him across the head and ultimately fracturing Gary's elbow.
Ryan Hollins, you played in the NBA for more than 10 seasons. Did Dillon break the code?
I don't think so. I think Dillon Brooks is being Dillon Brooks. I think it was a physical play, but I don't think he had the intent to take him out.
Does he have the right to wind up and swing when a player has left his feet? I don't.
Here's the thing. That's Dillon Brooks. It's a playoff foul. So if Gary Payton doesn't get injured, unfortunately, hopefully there's a speedy recovery there, or, it's not as bad as, it seems. If he doesn't fall and get hurt, you don't address it that way. But I don't mind at all Steve Kerr going to bat for his guys. That's what you're supposed to do. But I'm a neutral party. I think it was excessive. I think he did deserve to get tossed, but I think it was a playoff foul. Now, Rob, you covered the NBA for much longer than I played.
Since
or I
1987, Mr. Ryan Hollins.
Well, I was like 3 or 4 years old, man.
Right.
Okay, so you've seen worse, Rob, and seen guys go back in and play. And I'm not saying that was the good NBA.
You can't play with a fractured left elbow. I mean, you're not saying
no,
that.
And it was an unfortunate fall. It was a very unfortunate fall. But if he doesn't fall and it's just awkward, we're not having this discussion. But obviously the case of the fall, and like, Rob, you know it. That's why when you get hit in the NBA, you got to sell a little acting. You got to roll around and you're not going to get a call. I mean, I've been clubbed and try to do the tough thing and get back up. And it's like, oh, common foul. He's okay. So unfortunately it's graded by this. But in this situation, Gary Payton Jr., he's the second. He's not junior. He's the second.
He's the second.
That's what Uncle GP told me. Shout out to Uncle GP, man. He's the second. But I don't think it was intentional. I think it was a physical playoff foul. And I think it's, if Dillon Brooks, that's the style of play that he has.
Oh, but this is not the NBA that I covered in the 90s and early 2000s. This is the Charmin NBA. This is a different NBA. The bad boys would be called the mild and easy boys now. There would be no Detroit bad boys. They couldn't play in this NBA. So there's no such thing as a hard playoff foul because they don't allow it. Don't you remember the championship that Dwayne Wade won in Miami when he shot 200 free throws? And if they breathed on him, they called a foul. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. Well, let me ask you this. Would Steve Kerr say the same for Draymond? Because Draymond is, he hits guys in the man parts. He's physical, and I'm a Draymond fan. Now, I fool with Draymond. He knows that, but Draymond mixes it up. Some say he's this generation's Dennis Rodman. So does he have a right to say he broke code? Because Draymond, when you hit a guy in the man parts, man, that's breaking code. There's got to be some type of code there, Rob.
There's no doubt about it. Ain't nobody trying to be hit there. I get it. But I'm just saying in this case, what is the rule when a guy has left his feet? I mean, you got to be careful, right?
You have to
Can
be
you
careful.
wind up? Can you club somebody across the head? Because I hear what you're saying. But Dillon Brooks, it looks like you can't do that. Like, that's not something that's a part of it. You played in a million more NBA games than I ever played in.
Here's my thing. I've been hit like that in games. Thank God I hadn't been hurt because of it. But I think it deserved a flagrant 2 ejection because any contact.
How about a
above the
suspension?
shoulders, I don't know if I suspend him because I don't think his intent. Now I question the intent. So you got to look at Dillon Brooks. Was he just trying to take away because Gary Payton II is a big-time dunker. Is he taking away a dunk, or did he say, I'm going to hurt this guy? Remember Golden State. Zaza Pachulia puts out his foot, and Kawhi lands. Kawhi, low-key, hadn't been the same since because of that, okay? That was a level of intent that we saw. I don't think that I can say the intent was, I'm going to hurt Gary Payton II. Now, keep in mind, this is playoff basketball, so Kerr is going to be like, man, if I can get Dillon Brooks suspended a game or out of here, because we need to get these 2 in Golden State. Your boy Ja Morant just gave us 47, a 47
including the last 15.
Yeah,
I mean, I was at that game where LeBron did it, to the Pistons, and what was that, 2007? I covered that game. Matter of fact, Chris and I were both covering that game, and to see a player put up the last 15 in a game like that was an important game.
That's tough. So he knows how big Dillon Brooks is, and if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm calling for the people's vote and saying, get him out of here, Rob. You know how these things happen. The people's vote matters. If everybody starts saying he's dirty, he's this and that, and they can rally behind him, he may be out of there. You can play some mind games. Steve Kerr is doing what he's supposed to do. I just don't think the intent to hurt Gary Payton was there.
He says, I don't know if it was intentional, and I give Steve Kerr credit because you can't say that when you don't really know what's in the guy's head, okay? So he did at least say that I don't know if it was intentional. Now, the league is expected to talk to members of the Warriors and the Grizzlies over the next few days ahead of Game 3 to decide if Brooks will be suspended. Is there bad blood? Is there going to be bad blood moving forward in this series? I mean, the Grizzlies are an upstart young team that could be the ones to knock out the Warriors, and now the Warriors are down a man. What do you expect? Does Draymond retaliate, or is this going to not be one of those? This won't mar the series going forward.
No, I think Draymond knows he's not the guy to retaliate. I think the officials have made a precedence with Draymond already, just to let him know, we're not on that, Draymond. Like tread lightly.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think the physical play goes on. Keep in mind, Golden State was the team that did what? They knocked Memphis out last year. So there's a bit of a rivalry that's forming here. So I do.
No, then Memphis knocked out Golden State.
No, I thought last year, if you correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Golden State beat Memphis. Either way.
No. It's the other way around. Memphis beat Golden State. Golden State lost to the Lakers and then got knocked out by Memphis.
Okay, thanks for the correction. But there's some blood there. There's some blood there. So, yes, Golden State wasn't that good. Yes, they were hurt. Yes.
You remember? And Steph was bad in the fourth quarter and overtime. Remember? Okay, good.
So, at the end of the day, my bad, Rob. Appreciate you, Rob. I appreciate you, man. I give you kudos when you need it. But there's some bad blood there to get your point. I'm intrigued to see how the officials call this, Rob. Are they going to call it a tight contest?
I think they're going to call it tight. They're not going to allow this to get out of hand. And it could get out of hand. I really believe. And the Warriors better talk to Draymond and say, dude, do not do anything, because if he gets another one, right, he's going to be out.
Do you think he's that wild though, Rob? Do you think
Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
So you think he's going to jeopardize their championship hopes and take a shot?
It happened already. He probably cost him that championship against LeBron and the Cavs.
Rob,
missing Game 5.
You don't think that's the whole reason they lost, man?
No, I didn't say the whole reason, but I'm just saying you don't want to miss games. He's an important part of that team. All right,
Robert, over in Dallas, you're on the Odd Couple. What do you think?
I don't think he was over the line. I think that it was actually the result of the injury where all this is coming from. And he's basically been suspended a game already because it happened in the first 3 minutes of the first quarter. So maybe you look at adopting the college rule for targeting, where you suspended the next half and the first half of the next game. Because if you remember, this happened back in the day with my Detroit Pistons with Antonio McDyess.
I remember that was the same exact game. You know what's crazy? That's the same exact game LeBron finished with, 25 points in a row to end the game? That was the same game.
Yeah, and then he was not only missed out that game, but he was suspended for the next game. So basically, be 2 games if he's suspended for game number 3.
Yeah, it wouldn't be looked at that, but I understand what you're saying because it happened so early in the game. But Memphis won the game. So that's the only Memphis won the game, so they don't look at it. If he misses the game, he's going to miss a game. I don't think he's not going to miss a game. 877-99 on Fox.
Hey, Robert, over in Georgia, you're on the Odd Couple. What do you think? What's your view? Are you agreeing with Rob or are you agreeing with me?
Nah, Ryan, I can't agree with you on this one.
Oh, Rob, come on, man.
I definitely think. Listen, I had 2 quick points. First, when you said intent matter. Intent doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if the intent don't matter to his elbow being Gary Payton elbow being shattered, because at the end of the day it's still fractured. So that intent only don't matter because he's still hurt. And then secondly is we all know that at any place that's whether it's a high school, it's not even an NBA, high school, college, you knock somebody out the air while they're in the air laying or dunking the ball, that's gonna likely break out a fight. And Rob even knows in baseball, if you throw at a pitcher head, everybody comes out the thing.
Right. You can't throw at nobody's head. Right.
Yeah. It's just that's the rules, and you got to oblige by those rules. You know it when you get into it.
All right, Robert. Appreciate it. He educating Ryan Hollins, who played 45 seasons in the NBA.
Oh, my goodness, man. Stop it, Rob. Stop it. And I think intent is important, and I will say this. You can get hurt just running up and down the floor with no contact. You can get hurt on a common foul, so I don't want to blame someone for that. So I do think intent is extremely important. Sean, up in Sacramento, Sacktown in the house, man, you're on the Odd Couple. What do you think?
Yo, my uncle from another mother and my cousin, Ryan Hollins,
Yes,
man.
sir.
You've been doing great down there in the Rockets town, brother. Hey, those battles with us in Sacramento, those were lit, man. But real quick, Inside the Parker, cutting out tomorrow. Go download, go subscribe right now, Odd Couple Nation.
That's
but
right.
My take real quick, man, is, Rob, how dare you call that a bad foul after all them Pistons
Yes!
oversaw?
It was a different league. Sean, would you admit it was a different league?
I admit that, but at the end of the day, if he wouldn't have got hurt, that wouldn't have been a flagrant 2, and nobody would be talking about it.
No,
if somebody pushes somebody off or crosses somebody over and they shatter their ankle, do they get a flagrant 2 and suspended because that person
yes,
got a hurt
but
ankle?
I get that. I get that. But when you leave your feet, Ryan, you know that. I mean, are we talking out of school? When you leave your feet in the NBA, you're not supposed to push a guy. You're not supposed to wind up. You're not supposed to pimp slap anybody when they're in the air.
Rob, I got clotheslined by Matt
This
Harpering
playoff
before.
Basketball, baby.
Rob, I've been clotheslined by Matt Harpering before. Hit the ground for a couple moments. No one came to check me out. I ended up being healthy and just finished the game. And the referee looked at me like, get up. And I'm like, yo, I was defenseless in the air.
Wow. Man. And nothing happened. What year was that?
We were playing Utah. I was in Charlotte. It was my first or second year. I got in the game. And I had a wide open dunk, and Harpering had nothing but ill intent in his heart. And when I hit the ground, it was a loud thud. Now, I didn't sell it. I didn't roll around on the floor, Rob.
Right.
You know, and I looked over, and I could not believe there was no flagrant, no nothing. It was like, rookie, get off the floor. But I'm like, yo, I could have got hurt. Now, I was smart enough when I was falling. You know, I went to protect myself. I didn't just hit hit a thud, but it was a dangerous play. So I don't think the intent is there. I think it's a playoff foul, Rob. But, I mean, so you're telling me you condone because the NBA is a little more sensitive to injuries or vulnerable players that he should be kicked out? This is where you stand?
All I'm telling you is that's where the league is. And
no, hold on.
We'll get into that. We got other stuff to take care of.